He grinned, as if he just won the lottery, but he didn't know he had just triggered a federal nightmare. My house! Madison, I sold it! My brother, Derek, said casually over the phone, as if he was talking about a used car. Don't worry, the buyer is legit. Before we go any further, hit like, share, and subscribe. This story goes from shocking to insane in seconds, and you won't believe what happens next. I froze. My house. The one I had spent years building quietly, turning every corner into something valuable, something safe gone. Derek had always loved to brag about making smart moves while I was cautious. He mocked my careful plans, my slow pace, my boring life. But now, his smirk hid nothing but ignorance. He didn't know that house wasn't just a home, it was protected federal property. Years ago, I had secretly enrolled it into a federal program that safeguarded strategic properties with unique legal restrictions. Any unauthorized sale or transfer would be a direct violation of federal law. Derek, do you even know what you just did? My voice stayed calm, but my blood was boiling. I thought I was helping. You weren't using it, he stammered, realizing his genius move might not have been so genius after all. Before I could respond, there was a knock at my front door. 3 sharp, deliberate knocks. My heart skipped a beat. Derek's confident laugh faltered. He glanced toward the door like a cornered animal. I already knew who was coming. Federal agents. And this time, they weren't here for me. They were here for him. His jaw dropped as the door opened, revealing suits, badges, and eyes that meant business. He stepped back, tripping over the rug he had always made fun of. You sold this house, one of the agents asked, holding up a folder thick with documents. Derek's voice cracked. I watched silently, a small, cold smile playing on my lips. All the years he mocked me, laughed at my careful planning, ridiculed my patience. It all led to this moment. He didn't know the house was wired for tracking. He didn't know I had left instructions with the federal office in case anyone tried to sell it illegally. He didn't know that in trying to outsmart me, he had just outsmarted himself into serious trouble. And as the agents moved in, handcuffs ready, Derek looked at me, panic etched on his face. You set me up, he shouted. I shook my head slowly. No, Derek, you did this all on your own. And just like that, years of underestimation, ridicule, and mockery flipped. The quiet, careful sister everyone thought was nothing had built a trap so tight that even family couldn't escape it. Derek's arrogance had blinded him, and now, the lesson he ignored for years was coming full force. I could see the color drain from Derek's face as the agents led him to the car. He struggled, tried to yell, tried to bargain, but every word he spat sounded weak, desperate, and meaningless. I stayed by the doorway, arms crossed, watching him vanish from sight. My neighbors peeked from behind curtains, whispering and pointing. Some had always laughed at me, called me boring, slow, and overly cautious. Now they saw the exact opposite, a calm force no one wanted to cross. Then I turned back into the house. Every corner, every locked cabinet, every hidden document reminded me of the months I spent building silently. No one knew about my investments, my federal connections, or the legal precautions I had embedded in that house. Everyone thought I was small, powerless. They were wrong. My phone buzzed. A text from the buyer Derek had sold the house to. Why am I being contacted by federal agents? A small, satisfied smile formed on my lips. He hadn't known, but now he was part of the chaos too. The beauty of planning in silence is that the world only sees the outcome, not the effort behind it. Later, I received a call from one of the agents. Madison, your proactive measures saved a lot of legal trouble for multiple parties. We've taken care of the transaction and ensured the house remains protected. But your brother, he paused. Let's just say he'll be learning a very expensive lesson. I hung up and walked through the house, touching the walls I had worked so hard to protect. The relief was immense, but so was the satisfaction. Derek had underestimated me for years. He thought he could outsmart me with charm, manipulation, and confidence, but he never saw my preparation, my patience, my silent strategy. A knock at the door made me jump slightly. I opened it to see a Fed officer holding a sealed envelope. This came for you, Madison. It's urgent. I tore it open. Inside were documents showing federal recognition of my property, additional investments tied to it, and a note that read, "Your foresight is unmatched. Be careful whom you trust." The twist hit me. Derek's betrayal was only the beginning. Whoever had been watching our family, our moves, had noticed my meticulous planning, and now I wasn't just protecting my house. I was part of something much bigger, and the game had just begun. The moment I held that envelope, something in my chest tightened. It wasn't fear, it was recognition. Someone out there knew more about me than I expected, and they wanted me to know they were watching. I placed the documents on the table and stared at them, replaying every small detail from the last year. The hidden files I filed, the signatures I kept private, the federal consultant I had spoken to only once. It didn't make sense. Nothing should have linked back to me so directly. Before I could think further, my phone rang again, this time an unknown number. I hesitated, then answered. A calm voice said, "Madison, you did well exposing your brother, but he wasn't working alone." My breath caught. "What do you mean?" "You need to check your father's old storage unit," the voice continued. Everything started there. The call ended. No name. No explanation. Just those words. Heavy, sharp, and dangerous. My heart pounded as I grabbed my keys. If this was about my dad, it meant the betrayal went deeper than Derek's selfish greed. It meant someone in my own family was tied to whatever federal protection wrapped around my house. The storage unit was 30 minutes away, but the drive felt endless. My mind kept racing through memories, old arguments, sudden silences, the way my father used to lock certain drawers when we were kids. When I arrived, the place was quiet, almost too quiet. Rows of metal doors stood in a cold line, each one holding secrets no one asked about. I walked to Unit 107 and entered the code. The door rolled up with a loud metallic groan. Inside, at first glance, everything looked normal, old boxes, dusty furniture, a few photo albums. But then I saw it. A metal briefcase sitting alone on top of a wooden crate with my name on it. Not my father's handwriting. Not Derek's. Someone else. Someone who had expected me to find it. My fingers trembled as I opened the latch. Inside were files thicker than anything I had seen. Maps, sealed letters, property codes, even surveillance pictures of my house from before I inherited it. And on top of everything, a single photo of me. A red circle drawn around my face. A note attached. "You were never supposed to know, but you were always meant to be the last one standing." A cold shiver ran through me. This wasn't about real estate anymore. This wasn't about Derek. This was a setup, a trap, a legacy. And now, someone wanted me involved, whether I liked it or not. My hands shook as I pulled the photo closer. The red circle around my face looked fresh, like it had been drawn only days ago. Someone had been watching me, closely, carefully, intentionally. And now they wanted me to know it. I dug deeper into the briefcase, flipping through the files, trying to make sense of the chaos. Then I froze. One document wasn't old or dusty. It was printed last week. It listed 3 names tied to a federal investigation, and one of them was my brother Derek. Not as a victim, not as a witness, but as a cooperating informant. He wasn't just greedy. He was hiding something massive, something dangerous, and selling my house wasn't about money, it was about wiping his tracks. My property had records buried inside its land rights, records that could expose everything he'd done. Federal protection wasn't an accident. My house was evidence, and Derek thought selling it would make it all disappear. I swallowed hard, anger and fear mixing in my chest. He hadn't betrayed me out of spite. He betrayed me because I was in the way. A sudden noise made me spin around. Footsteps. Slow, deliberate. Someone was walking toward the storage unit. I stepped back, gripping the briefcase like a shield. The shadow grew longer, closer, until a figure stopped just outside the doorway. "Madison," a familiar voice whispered. "We need to talk." My stomach dropped. It was my Aunt Claire, the one who always acted uninterested, always avoided family drama, always kept her distance. But she wasn't distant now. She looked terrified. "You shouldn't be here," she hissed, glancing around. "If they see you with those files." "Who?" I snapped. "What is all this? Why is Derek on a federal list? And why is my house involved?" She took a shaky breath. Because your father trusted you. He left everything in your name, knowing one day you'd be the only one strong enough to handle the truth. I stared at her, pulse pounding. What truth? Claire stepped closer, lowering her voice. Your brother didn't just sell your house. He sold information. And the people buying it, they're coming tonight. My chest tightened. For what? Her eyes locked onto mine, dark, fearful, honest. For you. For a moment, everything went still. The dust in the unit hung in the air. My heartbeat echoed louder than the world around me. Claire grabbed my arm. Listen carefully. You have something they want. Something your father hid. Something you must protect at all costs. Because once they realize the sale failed, and Derek is gone, they won't stop. Not until they get it. I clutched the briefcase, the weight suddenly heavier. So what do I do? Claire's expression hardened with a truth I wasn't ready for. You run. You think. You use that brain your father trusted. Because this isn't a fight about a house anymore. Her next words sent chills down my spine. This is a fight for your life. And just like that, the door slammed shut behind us, and the lock clicked from the outside. The story ends. But Madison's war has just begun.